And welcome once again to The Verdict. Good morning. I'm Mick Cornett. Kent Myers has the week off. Our regular viewers know that on The Verdict we discuss topical issues and meet interesting guests, and that's certainly the case this week. We'll be discussing the Big 12 basketball championships, which are in Oklahoma City this week. The men's and the women's championships taking place in downtown Oklahoma City. Our guest will be Tim Brassfield. He is the executive director of the Oklahoma City All Sports Association. We'll learn about the impact that this championship or series of championships will have on Oklahoma City and how it all came to be. It's coming up next on The Verdict.
Every day America uses clean-burning natural gas instead of coal or oil is a day of victory for our environment. That's why Chesapeake chose to explore for natural gas exclusively, and we've never looked back. Because natural gas burns twice as clean as oil or coal, and reducing carbon emissions to combat potential global warming is every bit as urgent as cutting our dependence on energy imports. As America's #1 driller of new gas wells, Chesapeake is moving fast to find untapped reserves of natural gas here at home. It's the right fuel for America's economy and the fuel for a clean air future. We just happen to be early to see it so clearly. Chesapeake, natural gas wins the day.
What's more fun than a game-winning buzzer beater? It's the Billboard Top Tournament Connection. Scores, highlights, analysis, live updates, and more scores. All the games count, and you can count on the Cox Channel to keep you up to date during the 3 biggest weeks in Oklahoma basketball. Join Rod Thompson and the crew for the Billboard Top Tournament Connection. Live at 10, Thursday through Saturday. It's nothing but net.
You need this one to get satellite HD. This one's your DVR. This one's for local channels. This one's...
What are we supposed to do with all this stuff?
Got you covered. Oh, by the way, that old satellite stuff makes a great end cable.
That doesn't look so bad, right, honey?
Don't live in satellite denial. Get the latest entertainment without the hassles. From Cox, your friend in the digital age.
Welcome back to The Verdict. Mick Cornett here with Tim Brassfield. Tim is the executive director of the Oklahoma City All Sports Association. He's had that position since 1999. He is the CEO of the Sooner State Games. He serves on our sports council at Oklahoma City. He is a native Oklahoman and resides in Norman. Tim, welcome to The Verdict.
Thank you, Mayor. Glad to be here.
Well, this is an event that you've been working on for several years. The city was successful in its bid for the Big 12 tournament, I guess in the summer of 2004. Even then, it seemed like it was a long way off, being the 2007 tournament. But you've done enough of these events to know that that time flies really fast, and eventually it'll be here.
Absolutely, and it has taken that long to plan. We're certainly excited that it's coming, and I think the community will rally out and shine for this event when it gets here.
Let's back up a minute and let you brag and give a history of the All Sports Association, founded 50 years ago. Why was it founded and how has it evolved through the years?
Yeah, 50 years ago this month, actually, so we are proud of that. It was founded because the All College Basketball Classic was going away. A group of men got together, pledged themselves financially, and committed to do the event, and that's how the association was formed as an arm of the chamber. And Stanley Draper Jr. in 1977 took the All Sports Association out on its own, and they began to seek other events like the National Finals Rodeo with the chamber, of course. We've done everything from hockey, Russian hockey events to you name it, we've done it. But In 1999, when I came, the board wanted an emphasis, and our emphasis needed to be on something, and that was amateur sports. Other people in the community were doing professional sports, so the thing we needed to do was make sure that we did what was best for the community and best for the association. So we focused on amateur sports with an emphasis on collegiate championships, and since that time it has served us well, and we're certainly proud to be a part of the community.
Yeah, I think most people know that whenever an event is announced for a city, there has to be some sort of local organizing element. Has to be some group that kind of takes control of it. And that's the All Sports Association's role, in that to a certain extent you're the financial backer. I mean, you're the people that place a guarantee that this event will sell this much tickets and generate this much revenue. Am I in the right track?
Absolutely, yeah. And every large city has what is called a sports commission. That's what we are. For example, this event obviously is a large guarantee. It's the largest we've ever embraced, and it's about $9 million to bring this event to our community. We believe in it. We think that it'll be great when all's said and done. So yeah, that's who we are. And same thing happens in St. Louis, same thing happens in Indianapolis, Dallas, San Antonio. So that's who we compete against for these type of events.
Why is this a big deal? Why is this bigger than other events that the All Sports Association has brought into Oklahoma City?
Well, I think first of all, it's the largest sporting event, arguably, that's ever come to our state. 24 teams hitting our community at one time, and their fans, and the media that follows all of that. So it's a big deal to our community because it's $35 to $40 million economic impact that will be an influx to our community. So that's tremendous for our town and for our state. But it's also big in that it shows that we can host events like this. We want to get on a regular rotation for something like this, and I think if we execute, we can do that. But it's large also because of the sheer exposure that it gives to a state like ours and a city like ours, because you look at every game will be televised, at minimum regionally and most of them nationally. So that's great exposure, and we couldn't pay for that kind of commercial time to promote our community.
This tournament's been going on in some form as the Big 8 tournament or the Big 12 tournament for many years, mostly in Kansas City, somewhat in Dallas, but never outside of those two communities. How did Oklahoma City kind of elbow its way in and get a spot on the calendar?
Well, as you know better than anybody, it goes back to...
I am asking some questions that I know the answer to today, I'll admit that.
It goes back to maps. We had to have a facility to make this happen. So when the Ford Center came into play, all of a sudden we became a candidate for this event. So when that took place, we needed the support of our local universities. Joe Castiglione, Harry Birdwell then took the ball and ran with it at the meetings, the annual meetings of the Big 12 Conference. We were on site, but they had to go into that meeting and sell Oklahoma City. They did it for us, along with Eddie Sutton and Kelvin Sampson and Sherry Cole and the like, and they did a great job, and they told us, people, we can do this. As a community, we can do this. And so they believed in us, and they believed in what Oklahoma City could do, and so here it is.
Well, it's a pretty good college market, and Oklahoma and Oklahoma State compete for championships, and they have a large fan base. And that's certainly part of it. Certainly you've got to have the facilities, but they also have to be comfortable with the city being able to do it. And I think that the work that your organization has done in running the Big 12 baseball tournament, for instance, for many, many years, and the softball, the World Series out at ASA Stadium, and also the Big 12 softball tournament, those types of events have to allow a certain level of comfort that we could take on a tournament of this magnitude.
No question, and we co-host events also, like the NCAA basketball championship with the Big 12 Conference. So we have a great history with them, and that does give them a level of comfort that I think over the years has developed. You know, when you look at Big 12 baseball, that's been in our community 30 plus years. They have recently named us the home of the Big 12 baseball championship. So, and then the Women's College World Series. That event has grown so fast. 17 games over an 8-day span on national television, and we've been very successful with events, but that's our board. That's what our board does. These guys, these 41 non-compensated volunteers come in here, give their time, raise money, sell tickets, and make it happen.
Now, tell me in general how it works. We 24 teams, 12 universities, all sending teams to Oklahoma City. And do they stay all at different hotels? Do their fans stay at the same hotel as the team? Where does the media stay? How do you work out the logistics of that many people coming to the community?
Well, that was the thing I think that we were challenged with as a community. We needed more hotel rooms. They were not going to look at us until we were able to house these teams. So they do stay all across the city in different hotels. We have some people staying, or some of the teams staying downtown, some on our Meridian corridor, and then on the Northwest Highway corridor as well. So they stay across the city, which is great because I think it disperses the income that they're going to spend. They use restaurants at different places, but all in all, the Big 12 coordinates that and tells them where they'll stay. All we do is supply the map and tell them how many rooms we have in these locations, and then they assign those teams.
Okay. What other logistic issues have to be worked out? What am I missing there? A year ago, what were you most concerned with, and how did we have to step up from the other events that we've hosted in the past to this one? What makes this one different, a higher level?
Well, obviously, just sheer magnitude of 24 teams. The most teams we've ever had come into this market were 8 for an event like this. So unless we go all the way back to the 50s for the all-college when there were 32 teams coming in or something like that. But this is a different animal. But there are different logistics in that. One thing that we were concerned about is the Skirvin, and that's going to be taken care of.
You wanted to make sure the Skirvin Hotel was open.
Exactly. Yeah. So we needed that to happen in order, because we're housing 3 teams there. Ironically, something that we didn't expect is the way the women's tickets would work out. Ticket sales are doing very well there. So some of the people who have gone to this event for years all of a sudden aren't getting the level of ticket or the reserved location of ticket that they might have in the past. And that's a good thing, but it's also frustrated some of the local people because suddenly they're pushed out beyond where they would normally sit. But once they get in the arena at the Cox Convention Center, I think they'll be fine.
Tim Brassfield is the Executive Director of the All Sports Association, the Big 12 Basketball Championships in Oklahoma City this week. We'll have more information coming your way about the tournament, how you can attend, and the impact on Oklahoma City when we return. You are watching The Verdict.
The Journal-Record is pleased to be a sponsor of The Verdict. The Journal-Record, since 1903, the best source of Oklahoma business news and legal information.
Shining is taking responsibility. At Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Oklahoma, we know managing your health care can be overwhelming, and it's our job to help you meet the challenge. By guiding, supporting, and showing the way, we encourage you to gain control. Because we believe the best tool we can give you is the confidence to take charge. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Oklahoma, shining through.
Okiwani is an Indian name for a place where children play. When we obtained the camp, we found a lot of oil debris left in the woods. We saw a commercial about how the oil and natural gas industry cleans up old oil well sites. We called the OERB, and they agreed to remove tons of concrete and steel. It didn't cost us a thing. Thousands of children have left their footprints on this land. Thanks to the oil and gas industry, they will for a long time to come.
All children deserve a life of hope and love, but sometimes they experience a life of pain, neglect, and abuse.
When that happens, each child deserves all the quality assistance and representation that can be offered in our legal system. For more information, call 23-CHILD.
Oklahoma Lawyers for Children, helping to bring hope and love back to the lives of abused children.
There's a whole new world online, but it's not always safe for kids. What if someone you meet online sends a message that makes you feel uncomfortable? Tell a parent or teacher right now. It's the safe way for kids, right, gang?
Right. Be safe online.
Thanks to Lauren Nelson and Cox, we're working to keep Oklahoma kids safer online. For your free guide, log on now. And if you feel your child has been placed in danger by someone online, notify law enforcement today.
Hi, honey. You've got to check this out.
What? What are we listening to?
I had digital phone service installed today.
It sounds just like before.
I know, but it's going to save us a ton of money.
With Cox Digital Telephone, you'll save big every month. Keep your same phone number and get your favorite calling features. Just pay less.
That does sound good.
You should hear the upstairs phone.
Welcome back to The Verdict. Mick Cornett with Tim Brassfield. Tim is the Executive Director of the All Sports Association. Kent Myers has the week off. He's usually the co-host here, so I'm firing all the questions at Tim. One of the things that's unique about the 2007 men's and women's basketball championships is that the arenas are across the street from each other. And when these events have been held in Dallas and Kansas City, there's been a series of blocks away, and it really wasn't convenient for a fan to go back and forth if they wanted to see both the men's and women's games. And I assume that's a big advantage in Oklahoma's bid and the opportunity.
Well, without question, that is the advantage we have. And all of our marketing is focused on 58 steps between champions. And you and I learned it's more like 58 leaps or giant basketball player steps the other day. So, but it's still close, and people can walk right across the street from one event to the other and enjoy both activities. And I think that has really enhanced the women's ticket sales. Inside the Cox Arenas, where the big Phillips 66 Basketball Fest will take place, we anticipate 200,000 people will go through there.
What goes on in there? This is in the Cox Center, across the street from the Ford Center and what used to be the Myriad. There's some sort of basketball festival, or explain what that is.
Yeah, very much so. It'll be a place where we will have a full-size court in there. All of our media center will be in there, with all the local television stations having a place, as well as some radio. So there'll be a lot of activity. Every corporate partner of the Big 12 will have an interactive game, interactive activity of some sort that will take place. All of the alumni, we have a place called Alumni Alley, will meet there after their games, as well as just outside, the huge 16:9 Go Vision screen will be out on the street on Reno there, and that's where all the pep rallies will take place each day, as well as showing highlights and games from across the country. As we know, and basketball becomes very exciting at that time during that week. So out on the street there will also be a full-size basketball court, and it'll not to play on, but just for looks and aesthetic value. But it's going to be a neat deal for a lot of folks to when they arrive in Oklahoma City. It will be unlike any championship they've ever seen, with the two right across the street like that. Another advantage that Oklahoma City has on all other cities that wish to host these is its central location. If you look at a map of the Big 12 and you look southerly at Texas, and then you look north at Colorado, Nebraska, Iowa, those states going across, Oklahoma City is really the most centrally located, and so from that standpoint, you may have had fans in the northern part of the region who might not have wanted to go to Dallas, or you might have someone who lives in South Texas who might have felt Kansas City was too far away. And Oklahoma City, being the most centrally located, has an advantage, and I would assume that's something that a lot of the athletic directors appreciate, because it gets their fans there. Well, I think so, and with the improvement of our new airport, Oklahoma City is the easiest place to get to. 692 miles to Boulder, Colorado. That's the furthest city by far. You know, when you think of where we are located in conjunction, as you've said, with all of the universities, I think this is another advantage to us being the center of the conference. Well, and I think previous experience just kind of shows. I attended many of these tournaments through the years in Kansas City, and you just didn't see a lot of Texas schools supported. And likewise, when this tournament was in Dallas, you didn't see nearly as many Iowa State fans as you had seen in Kansas City. So there's no question that location has an effect on the fan base, and you just wonder if Oklahoma City isn't that magical spot on the map that's centrally located, where you get out your compass and you start drawing a circle and you realize, hey, it's a day's drive from just about anywhere in the conference. Yeah, and I think at this point it's proven to be so when you look at ticket sales, and that's the way we can measure that. So it appears that as people have bought into that, and they understand that, hey, I can get there and I can enjoy it, even if it's for 3 or 4 days. I can make it to Oklahoma City. Okay, the men's championship sells out annually. You could probably hold it anywhere in the Big 12 Conference and get that accomplished. One of the challenges of Oklahoma City, and one of the ways that we could exceed expectations or improve upon what had been done in Kansas City and Dallas, was with the tickets sold for the women's championships, and that's been a success story. Very much so, and the men's have been sold out for 4 months. And that's well ahead of schedule. But the women's, we are down to single session tickets, and that's a tremendous success. We've doubled the previous sale of advanced sales on tickets. So we're certainly proud of that, and I think the community should be proud of that. And now the most important thing we can do is be there. We have the tickets in hand. Ticket records are broken by people being in the stands and on the turnstile count. So we need to make sure that even though we have the tickets, that we attend and make sure if you can't get there, your family goes. And I think once we do that, we have a great chance in the future for these events.
Well, take us through the schedule. The tournament starts on Tuesday with the Women's Championship. What happens from there?
Yeah, March 6th is the women's.
Now, how many games that day?
That is 4 games. March 7th is 4 games on the women's side. March 8th is 2 games, and then they hold their championship on Saturday.
Okay, so they have Friday off.
They have Friday off.
They play Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. The championship game is Saturday. Is that Saturday night?
That's correct.
Okay.
6 o'clock Saturday evening.
And all of those games are at the Cox Center?
That's correct.
Okay, now the men's championship starts when?
Men's championship begins on the 8th and goes through Sunday the 11th. So it's same type schedule. 4 games Thursday, 4 games Friday, 2 games Saturday, and the championship on Sunday, in time for the NCAA selection committee to finish. So that's at 2 o'clock, the championship on Sunday.
Okay. And one of the reasons that the economic impact is so large is that people come in and they stay several days. We have a lot of really nice concerts at the Ford Center, and they'll pack the house out, but it's generally people coming in, they might stay the night, might not. But with the Big 12 basketball championships, it'd be unusual for someone not to come in town and stay the night.
Very much so, or not to have dinner or spend the day even, because it's so often it's an amazing event the way these evolve. And our folks in Bricktown have done a great job, and they're going to be prepared, and we've had meetings in advance with them, so they're going to have quick serve menus. They're going to stay open the hours that the event needs them to. So I think you're going to see our people not only stay the day to see the basketball, but they're also going to make their way to Bricktown or other restaurants, spend money there, and then wind up staying the evening.
Yeah, it is unusual because if you look when the tournament was held in Dallas and Kansas City, both of those communities, if you attended for several days, you really needed to rent an automobile if you flew in. And in Oklahoma City, because of the location of many of the downtown hotels and the 2 venues being downtown and then the Bricktown Entertainment Center being adjacent to downtown, you really have some synergy there. If your hotel is downtown, you don't really need a car during your visit here.
Well, and exactly, and you mentioned before the way the men's and the women's. In Kansas City or Dallas, you really need to go hop in another vehicle to get from one championship to the other. So your point is exactly right, and once they get here, they're going to be very happy about that. But you consider that the conference officials being able to stay in a hotel where they'll never touch their car for the entire week. The media who will stay downtown will be able to just walk next door to the arena, and that's where they'll stay for the week. So I think we're making it about as easy to have a championship in our community as we can.
The All Sports Association holds a number of events, and everything's kind of been focused on this one because this is the big one. Okay, when this is over, when this week is over, what's next on the calendar, and what do you have long term?
Yeah, that's kind of the challenge for us is that these type of events take so much energy, just like NCAA wrestling did last year, but they take so much energy that sometimes it's such a quick turnaround to your May events, which at the beginning of May we'll host the Big 12 softball championships. Middle of May, Memorial Day weekend time frame, we will host the Big 12 baseball championships. 1st of June, we will host the Women's College World Series. Then we go into our Sooner State Games, which are State Olympics, which will take place all throughout July. And then we have a golf invitational. And then we'll rest a little bit come August, September, and begin the turnaround. One thing that our community may not know is in future years, the 2008 and 2009 is the first time we'll host a women's regional and basketball regional in the Ford Center. So tremendous event. And then the NCAA first and second rounds basketball are back in 2010 on the men's side. So looking forward to all those, and it's going to be some busy years and fun for Oklahoma City.
And the message to our citizens is the men's championship is sold out. You'd love to have them come down and watch a women's game.
Absolutely, and be there. Quite frankly, we know you have the tickets. You've done a great job, community. Just make sure we're there, or you have somebody there.
All right, well, congratulations to the All Sports Association. 50 years is quite a run.
Yeah.
and Oklahoma City is certainly better off for having all of the events that you brought through the years. 2007 is a big year for sports in the state of Oklahoma, and we're reminded that in Tulsa they're going to have the PGA Championship in August, another opportunity for the entire world to be looking at the state of Oklahoma and enjoying all that we have to offer.
Absolutely. It's a great sports state, and I think whatever the sport, we're great at supporting it, and I think everybody sees that.
Tim Brassfield is the Executive Director of the All Sports Association. The Big 12 Championships are this week in Oklahoma City. I'll be right back with a final word.
The good life comes naturally to Tulsa, where nature's beauty is matched with an eye for aesthetics. A legacy of neighborhoods graced with lawns and landscaping and handsome homes. A place that seems to have patented an ideal lifestyle. Bank First is loyal to the quality of life Tulsa assures its citizens, to the priority placed on education, culture, and growth. Loyal to builders who transform raw land into residential charm. Developers who see opportunity and add vitality to Tulsa's economy. Bank First serves both enterprise and private lives that need a loyal partner. It's how we help nurture this city's very good life. Bank First. Loyal to Oklahoma. Loyal to you.
What's more fun than a game-winning buzzer beater? It's the Billboard Top Tournament Connection. Scores, highlights, analysis, live updates, and more scores. All the games count, and you can count on the Cox Channel to keep you up to date during the 3 biggest weeks in Oklahoma basketball. Join Rod Thompson and the crew for the Billboard Top Tournament Connection. Live at 10, Thursday through Saturday. It's nothing but net.
Just keep it.
Thank you. Dr. Kessler? What's up with the pizzas? Well, I just got my first satellite bill, and those extra fees were a bit of a shocker. So I had to take a second job.
Hey, this was supposed to be pepperoni, dillweed.
Hey, it's Dr. Dillweed to you.
Whatever.
Kids. It's cool, I'm a people person.
Don't live in satellite denial. Get all your entertainment without the hidden charges from Cox, your friend in the digital age.
For more information on the All Sports Association, check out their website, okcallsports.org. Check out our website, too, theverdict.tv. Tell us about a show you'd like to see. For Kent Myers, I'm Mick Cornett. We'll see you next week on The Verdict.
The preceding program was produced by the Production Services Group at Cox Communications, exclusively for the Cox Channel.